So your album's coming out in a couple of days. How you feeling about it?
Excited. It's the best record I've ever made.
It's
And I
rocking.
know, that sounds like hype. Everybody says that at the interviews, and I'm not going to say it stinks or anything, sure. But it's a rock and roll record. It's not, they're going to put me in the Americana category, and that's fine. I respect the Americana movement, and I made a lot of records that would qualify as that sort of genre. But this is rock and roll. Like my first band, Government Cheese, and my second band, the Bis-Quits, we played rock and roll, and this is a rock and roll record.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, these days, I think the Americana kind of encompasses everything and anything anyway. So you're okay.
Yeah. Everything from Neil Young and Crazy Horse to the Carter Family or something.
There you go. Nice
Everything one in between.
So what caused you to rock out on this one? Did you just have the urge?
Well, I had an epiphany. I made a lot of records that the songs had to be able to be played acoustically by a solo acoustic artist.
Right.
So that's what I did. And then I came up with a bunch of rock and roll songs, and all of them can be played that way. All of them can translate that way, but on the record, they can be rock and roll. And when I play with the band, they can be rock and roll.
Gotcha.
And I just had an epiphany one day. I realized I got a jam box next to my shower stall, right?
All right.
And when I get in the shower, I don't put on Lucinda Williams. I don't put on Jason Isbell or Steve Earle or the old 97s or whoever. I put on The Clash.
There you go.
I put on AC/DC or the Stones. That's what I listen to. And I just kind of had a come to Jesus moment with myself that I hate Dobros.
All right.
If I hear another song about a train in the key of G, I'm going to kill somebody. So I just decided to do music that I like. And my first band, Government Cheese, we were just balls to the wall rock and roll, and that's what I mainly like. And there's a couple of country leaning songs on this new record, but
right.
But most of it has more in common to do with anywhere from Cheap Trick to AC/DC or the Clash or the Ramones or something like that. Most of the songs owe more to that than they do to anything else. So I'm really pleased with the record. I can listen to it, and there's nothing on it that makes me cringe. So maybe I'll hear something someday,
right?
That makes me miserable, but not yet.
Okay.
And we did it, me and two other people,
right?
Me and Jonathan Bright, who plays in Raylan Nelson's band. You know who he is?
I don't know.
No, well, Raylan Nelson is Willie's granddaughter.
All right.
And she has her own career, and Jonathan plays guitar for her. But I did not know until we started working on a record together that he is a fantastic drummer and that's his first love. So we would go in and we would record to a fake drum track, and I would sit on his couch and play my guitar part and sing along at the same time. I never touched a knob on an amplifier the whole time we recorded the record. Jonathan would go out there, turn the amplifier on, turn it up, and he'd run this long ass cable into the control room, which is more a control cell than a control room. It was about 6 by 9 feet,
Yeah.
And I would sit in this little love seat. He'd give me a guitar. I'd turn it up, make sure it's in tune. And then we'd lay down the guitar part, and we wouldn't do nothing like say, oh, maybe we should move the microphone back a foot, or maybe we should change the EQ, or maybe we should add a little compression. All we ever did was we listened to it and go, is it in tune? Yeah. Does it sound like a guitar? Yeah. Next, and then we do something else,
Yep.
And I'm a recovering cancer patient, and a vestige of the chemo is I get tired easily. So we would do like 3 hours at a time,
right?
And then about once or twice a week. And the record took about a year that way, but there's never the sound of me being tired.
Gotcha.
Anywhere on the record. And me and Jonathan, I played almost all the guitars and bass. None of my fancy studio friends, session guys. I love them all to death. They're great people, but I wanted to make a record with the sound of dirt under the fingernails.
Gotcha.
And so I did all that. Jonathan did the drums. He added some ukulele and a little bit of keyboard here and there. And Lisa Oliver Gray came by and sang some backup vocals, and that's it. We made the record all ourselves, and got it done maybe about July.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I mean, all the songs are full grown on it. What Steve Earle calls a full grown song, where I've done on my last records, I've done so many songs where the first verse was great.
Right.
And I'm so excited about it that I wrote the second and third verse real quick.
Right.
And thought it was great, because songs, when they're just born, they're cute like babies. You just fall in love with them. And then you put them on the record, and 3 years later, you hear it back and you go, God damn, that wasn't done. That second verse is not as strong as the first one, and the third verse sucks.
Right.
But all these songs are full grown. Everything on the record is a song that's cool from top to bottom.
Cool. No ugly babies here, huh?
No ugly babies. They
Excellent.
didn't grow into ugly toddlers or anything.
Very good. Very good. So a typical 3-hour session, what would it be like for the record?
I would go over to Jonathan's house, and his studio is a little small version of a house,
right,
in his backyard, not very big at all. And I would go over to his house, and the first thing we would do is sit on his back porch for about 20 or 30 minutes and smoke cigarettes. We would do that, and then we'd go back to that shack in his backyard, and well, Tommy, you got a new song? I said, yeah, I do. And I'd either get an acoustic guitar out and he'd mic that and mic my vocal at the same time. And I don't think I ever redid a vocal. I think all the vocals were done at the same time that I played an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar.
Right.
The electric guitar was in the tracking room, which was not a lot larger than the control room. And then we listen to it and go, well, let's do it a little faster or something like that. So we would. And after we got that much tracked, we'd have a victory cigarette, and we'd go outside and we'd smoke a couple more cigarettes. And 15 minutes later, we'd go in, and I would add this or that to it. And then I'd leave. And by the time I got back, the next time, he would have already put drums on it and some backing vocals he did himself. And I would hear it and go, whoa, that's cool. And we got 12 songs done that way. There's 11 on the album, I think. And the 12th one was a cover of Tempted by Squeeze.
All right.
Balls Out rock and roll song. But we didn't put that one on it.
Okay.
Because there was already 2 covers on the record already, and I didn't quite hit all the notes on the Squeeze tune. So Not that I hit all the notes on any of the other songs either. But, 2 covers was enough. We got Miss Otis Regrets. It's a Cole Porter song.
Yep.
That Lucky Old Son that I first heard Ella Fitzgerald do it, I think.
I think Frankie Lane had a big hit with it as well.
Frankie Lane was the first big hit from what I understand.
Yeah.
And, I kind of got my version from Johnny Cash's version. I just rocked it up some.
Gotcha. Well, the title track is I Thought I Was Fine. My understanding is there's kind of a story behind the song.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I could see, didn't know I was blind. I was laughing last night, I thought I was fine.
I had a great duo gig one night, and I'm not going to say who I was playing duo with.
All right.
But I had a panic attack earlier that day. I had some drinking and drugging problems at the time. We're going back 10 years now, 10 or 11 or 12 years. And I was having some mental problems, frankly, which have plagued me every now and then. I'm fine now.
Good.
I'm on enough meds to choke a mule.
Oh, God.
But I'm fine.
There you go. Do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do. Well, at the time, it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
And I found somebody at the gig who had some Xanax, and it calmed me down quite a bit. And I was going, thank God I can play the gig now. And then I took another Xanax and another, right?
Yep.
And the gig was great. I had a blast. Everybody loved it. And went to bed. It was a house concert. So, when you play a house concert, you generally stay overnight at the house. And that's what we did, me and my duo partner. And I opened up my email the next morning, and it was my duo partner's mail popped right up, and he asked me, what did you take tonight? I don't have the time or spiritual inclination to deal with you being a loose cannon with the pharmaceuticals.
Oh, boy.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then we had to go ride to a gig together.
Oh, boy.
And I got out a piece of paper, or maybe one of my hardback diaries I carry around, and I wrote the lyrics to the song. And it originally was, I took the tune from a John Prine song. Let's see. I thought I was fine. I didn't know the choices. It was a John Prine song that I took the chords from.
Gotcha.
And then later on, I changed it to I thought I was fine. God damn, this guitar's out of tune. So I changed the tune, and the song, I may have changed a few words here and there as it went along, but it was basically completely written on that trip to the next house concert. And it's become part of my set, and I didn't put it on my last solo record. I don't know why. I just, it didn't fit, I guess.
Right.
But this time it did, and it became the title track of the record because I told some people, what are you going to call the album? And the original title of the album was going to be Ecce Homo, which is Latin for behold the man. It's supposedly what Pontius Pilate said. He pointed at Christ on the balcony at the mob down below him and said, Ecce Homo, behold the man. And I thought that was a great title.
Sure.
And nobody else did.
Well, sometimes you got to read the room.
You got to read the room. One journalist told me that there's no way radio is going to touch that in a million years.
Probably.
It was the homo part of it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So it just became, I thought it was fun, and that's fine. I can deal with that.
Cool. So it seems like, there's a good portion of rockers. It sounds like you're having a good time, but there's a few serious moments on the record as well.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
You got a song called "Call Me Gary," which I'm guessing has some kind of dark background to it.
Mom was happy to have a father figure in my life when I was 6 years old. Father Lawrence would come over to the house once a week for dinner, and then he'd take me to the movies and tell me how God loves me. It said, "Call me Gary."
Yeah, it's a true story. It didn't happen to me.
Well, that's good.
I read about it. Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
I read about it in a magazine, a Time magazine, I think it was, several years ago. And the man interviewed in the magazine, he was anonymous, of course. He talked about how the family priest, the priest at the diocese that they went to church at, he took this man when he was a boy to get ice cream. Mm-hmm. And he bought him a vanilla cone, and then he started driving around. The priest started driving around aimlessly, and he reached his hand over to the boy and reached into his pants, and the boy was just frozen with fear. What the hell is going on here? He had no idea. He's 7 or 8 or 9 years old. He doesn't know what sex is.
Yep.
And he just froze stiff, holding up the ice cream cone as it started to melt and all the ice cream run down his hands.
Right.
And that detail just really floored me. And I filed it away in my brain. And that part of the story is true. And I just imagined from then on what that kid's life would be like as he grew older and got married and loved his wife, but he didn't like intimacy. He didn't like being touched.
Right.
And he turns 14, and Father Lawrence is no longer interested in him, but he and his 2 brothers, who bonded over what they never talked about, saw Father Lawrence across the room in the fellowship hall, squatted down at the knees, face to face with a first grader, with his hands on the boy's shoulders and a big smile, saying, "Call me Gary." Yeah. And I just imagined all the things that this fellow would have gone through on the way to adulthood. So yeah, it's based on truth, but of course I took liberties because I don't know the whole guy's story.
Sure. Yep. So it's interesting. I know you're doing a release show when the record's out, and a lot of the album is upbeat and rocking and having a good time. And then, are you going to throw some stuff like that in the show? Is your audience prepared for that?
Oh yeah. I always throw wobblers at the audience. I do not play it safe. Let's be frank. Okay. With I try to play it sober now.
Good.
That part I try to play safe, but no, there's always something provocative. I want to, somebody said art is there to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable.
I like it. Yeah.
And that's what I do. I got a song called Alpha Male and the Canine Mystery Blood that disturbs some people and makes other people just cry with elation. And Call Me Gary is the one on this record. It's not, obviously it's not a feel-good song.
No.
And people don't know, when I'm done with it, people don't know, the applause is always a little tepid.
Right. Yeah. Should I be applauding for this even at all?
Should I be applauding for this? And nobody's going, woohoo! You know,
that's not appropriate.
all right, a priest that fucks a little boy. Yeah. You know,
Oh,
nobody
boy.
does that. Is
No.
this going on a children's network?
No, don't worry about it. We'll be good. Now, it's clear to me that you love telling a story, and the album ends with the story of Wayman and Lou, which which feels like is it about your brother?
Yeah.
I wish I'd known you better. You were born too soon. I was wearing diapers when you were on your honeymoon. You went off in the Air Force, came home when you could. I wish I'd known you better. What I knew was good.
Wayman. Now here's a weird Arkansas thing. It only happens in Arkansas, and I don't know why. But when you're born, they give you a first name, middle name, and a last name, of course.
Yep.
But they call you by your middle name.
Gotcha.
My father's first name was James. His middle name was Carson. Everybody called him Carson.
Carson's a cool name.
Carson. Carlton Wayman Womack. They called him Wayman. Levon Helm. Levon is his middle name.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Arkansas boy. And this happens over and over again. And what the hell was my point?
Well, we're talking about Wayman and Lou, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he grew up, I grew up calling him Wayman.
Right.
And he was born in 42 and I was born in 62. He was out of the house before I was born. Just like, I tell the whole story of the song and then the song happens.
Right.
Yeah, that's all their real names. And it all really happened. Lou really did flip the bird to Elvis Presley.
I love a good near Elvis experience. It's great.
And Wayman really did play touch football with Elvis.
That's very cool.
And they really did get married 18 years after that. His third wife, I don't know how many husbands she had been through at that point.
Right.
And, I left out some details. Both of them drank like fish,
Right.
But yeah, and the song, that is a song that every bit of it is true. The story happened just like I describe it. And Wayman died before Mom did. And she wouldn't accept that he died. Wayman lived a hard life. Wayman was in Vietnam. Wayman did 25 years in the Air Force, retired and became a security guard in a casino in Las Vegas, day shift. And he pass away the night shift at a bar, and he smoked, at least 2 packs of Camel's Unfiltereds a day, every day. And he died of cancer about 15 years ago. Mom died 6 years ago, and Mom refused to accept it. She was already kind of going balmy.
Right.
She was in her 80s already when Wayman died, and she never took it in. She still had her lucid moments at the time, but the fact that her oldest boy had passed away before she passed away just didn't compute for her.
Fair enough. Yeah. Now, you mentioned your previous bands, Government Cheese, Bis-Quits, and my understanding is you got a kind of retrospective coming out, 30 years shot to hell or something like that.
Yeah. Simultaneous with I Thought It Was Fun, we're releasing a 42-track 2-CD anthology of all my greatest misses.
There you go.
There's 3 Government Cheese songs on it from way back in the day. There's a Biscuit song on it from back in the day. And then everything else is from the 7 solo records I've previously made.
Right.
And the 3 daddy records that I made with Will Kimbrough.
Oh, right.
And all the tracks come from that. And it's got a booklet that goes with it. Marshall Chapman and Peter Cooper wrote essays for it. And I'm as excited to see that as I am the new record. I got copies of the new record right here.
Oh, let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Isn't it pretty there?
It's looking good.
Back. And let's see. Oh, yeah. Here's one that's already open. See, you got that there.
There you go.
That's Jonathan and Lisa.
And yourself.
And me.
Very cool.
And there's all the credits over there.
Nice. Excellent. So what happened? Was there any kind of looking back and thinking back about your career when you're putting together this anthology?
Oh, yeah. I found out some of the songs. You're obviously going to try to put your best stuff on such a record.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I was listening down to a lot of songs in my career, and some of them I really look back on all the time and thought, that song sucked, man. Why did I put that on the record? And then I would listen to it as I was listening down to all the records, steeling myself to do so. And I'd come across tunes. I went, that's not half bad,
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah. So I went with that, and I'm really happy with it. 42 songs, some of them unavailable anywhere else. My first record's been out of print for a long time. I own the rights to it, but I've just never gotten up the dough to print some copies up. The second two, I guess you could say they're out of print since the company went under. So I guess
that would make it. Yes, that's usually how that works.
But I own all the others.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
So when you're playing on at what's it, a place called D's, I think your release show. Yeah.
D's.
What's it going to be like? Are you playing with the band? Is it by yourself?
Oh, it's a band. My son Nathan will be on lead guitar. Jonathan from the record, he's going to be drumming.
Cool.
My old homie Dan Seymour he's been my bass player for about 118 years now, and he's going to be on the bass. And Lisa, who's on the record, she's going to be singing harmony vocals with me. So it'll be the five of us.
Yep.
And we're going to start off. I got a rocked up version of Be My Baby by the Ronettes, and we're going to start the show with that. And then there's going to be about 7 songs in a row from the new record.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say, all right, you've made it through all that. So now I'm going to give you a little break here. Sing along. And we're going to do Louie Louie.
There you go.
And then there will be about 3 or 4 regular tracks that I always do, including Alpha Male,
right,
and Vicky Smith Blues and Nice Day. And we'll finish with Alpha Male, except we'll go straight from that into White Riot by The Clash.
Of course.
I'm giving away the whole game to anybody.
I feel like I'm there. Well, I can't be there, so I wish I could. It sounds like it's going to be fun. Are you looking forward to it?
Oh Lord, yeah.
Have you been doing much on stage, or have you been kind of laying low?
Laid low for about the first year and a half. Yeah. But, I played a lot of live stream shows online. I do that once a week, and that would get my Performing Jones.
Oh, is that coffee thing? Monday coffee?
The Monday morning cup of coffee. I always play a song on that.
Yeah.
And but there's no audience when you do that. People are watching you.
It's not the same.
It's not the same at all. No.
No, I've heard that.
What about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, when we kind of got this reprieve and everybody was going out to bars again, I started playing live again. and I'm out of shape. I'm forgetting words that I used to know like the back of my hand.
Right.
I used to always play 2 or 3 gigs a week, and so everything was up here.
Yeah.
And it's not there now. And I'll be 59 next month, so
You're
I'm
just a
wondering-
youngster.
Yeah, I'm a pup, right?
Well, to me, you are.
So I'm wondering if I have the mental capacity to get all those songs back in my head again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. I have a
Yeah.
feeling it's like, it'll all come rushing back. It's
Yeah,
the way it
I
works.
think it will.
Yeah,
I think it will.
It'll be fun. Well, thanks I wish I could be there. You ever been to New Zealand?
I would love to come. I've never been there.
All right. Well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I would love to see New Zealand. I've always heard such wonderful things about it. And I know a couple of people from New Zealand who are charming people.
Cool.
I've never been down under at all.
Well,
And I would love to do it.
we'll get the COVID crap out of the way, and you're more than welcome.
Yeah, if you know a booking agent, have him give me a ring.
All right, we'll do. Well, thanks
All
for
right.
spending time talking to me. I love the record, love talking to you. So have a great time on Friday with the gig. I'm sure
I
it's gonna go well.
appreciate it muchly, and you have a lovely spring there.
I will. The sun's out. It's beautiful.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You too, buddy. Take care.